Well, good morning and Shabbat Shalom once again. And once again, it is our privilege to spend time with our teacher, Rabbi Hillel Silverman. Good morning, Hillel. Shabbat Shalom.
Good morning, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom to you.
We are in Parshat Naso, which I believe is one of the longest parshiot and filled with all sorts of interesting stuff. So tell us what to look for in this morning's parsha, please.
Well, the most interesting aspect of today's parsha are the first verses having to do with, in English, the Nazarene, in Hebrew, the Nazir. The Nazir was one who abstained from eating certain foods, abstained from alcohol, from wine, from grapes, also abstained from marital relationships, and abstained from being in the presence of a dead body. It's quite interesting that Samson in the book of Judges is the example of the Nazarite. He did not cut his hair and had tremendous strength. He was able to defeat the Philistine because his hair was long. And then you know the story. Delilah enticed him, wanted to know from wherein was his strength. And he said, it's his hair. She had his hair cut when he was asleep, and he lost all of his strength, you remember? And he went put in prison. And then his strength departed, but through the months and years, his hair grew back, and his strength came back. And he went to the palace of the Philistines, put his hands on the posts supporting the palace, and pulled the palace down. So Samson was the Nazarene. At the end of the Sedra this morning, having to do with the Nazir, the Nazarene, we read that he is to bring a chatat, a sin offering to the priest. And you wonder, why a sin offering? Was he a sinner? What was his sin? The Talmud tells us, Rabbi Samuel says, he who indulges in fasting is a sinner. We should not encourage a person to sin. And the Rambam, in his Moreh Nevuchim, comes to the same conclusion. He says that one who does not eat certain foods or drink any alcohol or cuts his hair or doesn't build a beautiful home or doesn't look for nice clothing is a sinner, he said, is a sinner, as the Nazir in the Bible this morning is a sinner. In other words, Judaism tells us to deny only that which the Torah denies, but not to abstain from anything that our Torah permits. This is a very good attitude in life. Judaism is a very wholesome religion, this worldly religion, not so much as self-flagellation or as self-discipline. In other words, Judaism tells us to thank God for our possessions and to really oppose the ascetic, the monk who live on or the hermit who live alone on the mountain. So much for this morning's description of the Nazarene. We have to understand that a person, according to the Bible, who takes a vow or makes a promise is a person whose vow or promise must be fulfilled, because a vow or a promise is sacred. Society could not exist, could not endure without vows being recognized. The vows of a husband and a wife in a marriage, the vows of a businessman or a governmental official, vows in family life. All of these promises must be fulfilled. There is an entire tractate of the Talmud called Nadarim, which has to do with vows and promises I spent an entire year studying this tractate with Professor Lieberman, and this was a very, very interesting tractate without a Rashi, but only containing the Ran, uh, uh, talking about vows and promises. I think it's quite interesting that on the holiest night of the year, the evening of day of Yom Kippur, Kol Nidre, we ask God to absolve us of any vows or promises that we have made. We must understand what this means. These are rash promises beyond our control. These are obligations which we have taken to fulfill, which are very, very difficult to fulfill. On Kol Nidre, we would like to come to the synagogue with a clear conscience. We don't want to have any guilt. And the rabbis tell us that promises made from man to man cannot be dissolved before amends are making. These are rash promises made to God. And so another aspect of our Sedra tomorrow morning is the priestly benediction. Bless, you shall be blessed in with possession. You guard your possession. This is a wonderful benediction, and it is used in synagogues and churches. It is used in a bar mitzvah ceremony. It is used in marriage when the rabbi blesses the bride, the groom, the bar mitzvah. He says, Yivarecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. I know with my daughter, Agila, she treasures this blessing which the Father blesses on Friday night. I remember distinctly one Friday night when I guess I was distracted by the sermon that I was to deliver, and I neglected to bless her. She was just 4 at the time. And as I went from the Eshet Chayil to the Kiddush, she looked at me with tears in her eyes. Daddy, you forgot to bless me. She treasures the blessing. And my children to this day call me, though they are hundreds of miles apart, and ask me for the Friday night blessing. Yivarechecha, may the Lord bless you. The word Yivarechecha is used in Baruch, Baruch atah, you are blessed, or Baruchu et Adonai Hamdorach, bless the Lord. But there is a dual meaning here. I don't really think that human beings can bless God. God blesses us, though we use the same word of Baruch. God blesses us with health and with happiness and with children. We cannot bless God. All we can do is praise God, and we do that again and again. Baruch comes from the root berach, which means a knee. You're bending the knee when you praise God. Human beings praise God. God blesses us. And so we have in this morning's Torah reading, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless us with material goods, material things, with food and health and education and children and security. We want God's blessing. V'yishmerecha. But may God protect our possession. It's one thing to receive from God possession. It's another thing for us to be able to protect our possessions. Or to put it another way, we ask God to give us possessions, but to keep the possessions from possessing us. And this happens. Our businesses become our possessions and begin to possess us, or our home, or our club, or our organization, or clothing, and begin to possess us. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Possessions are not an end in themselves. Possessions are merely a means. Possessions are a goal and values to help us enjoy life. A Zehu Ashir, who is the wealthy man? The Talmud asks. Hasameach v'chelko, he who is satisfied with what he has. Now, the first blessing, may the Lord bless you and keep you, is a blessing for material possessions, health and happiness. The second blessing, is a desire for intellectual blessing, the blessings of the spirit, the blessings of the heart. And the third, Yasem Lecha Shalom. May the Lord lift his spirit unto you and grant you peace. Peace, of course, is the object of all of our possessions and all of our service to God and to man. We ask for harmony and we ask for a tranquility in our daily life. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift his spirit unto you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift his countenance unto you and grant you peace. Have you ever heard of the duchening? The duchening is something that is done in the Orthodox congregation where the Kohen, the priest, during the service, blesses the congregant. He puts his talus over his head, closes his eyes, and together with the cantor sings Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. I remember in my first congregation in Dallas, Texas, I was 30 years old. I had just come out of the Navy as a chaplain, and I thought it would be wonderful to reintroduce the ancient tradition of duchening, of a Kohen blessing a member of the congregation. And so at the board meeting, I got them to agree. And I found a Kohen who knew what to do. And on Rosh Hashanah, he ascended to the pulpit and he pronounced the priestly blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Actually, he sang it, and the cantor responded. The next day, a member of the congregation was irate. How dare he give me a blessing? I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I said, why not? I know the man under the talus. He may be a Kohen, but he's a ganav. He's an immoral person, and he can't give me a blessing. So I said to this irate gentleman, look, the Talmud tells us, and Jewish law tells us, that at this moment he was a Baal Tshuva. He was a penitent from all of his sin. And when he blessed you in the traditional manner. Well, suffice it to say, I never did repeat the duchening. And this man did not resign from the synagogue. And so to everyone, Shabbat Shalom.
Well, Rabbi, Shabbat Shalom, and blessings to you for sharing your Torah with us this morning and always, and stay well. And our best to your blessings for your family. Make sure you don't forget to bless your daughter tonight, okay?
Thank you,
Both,
very much.
both of them, and all the grandchildren.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Take good care.